Oh, hard into the wall. It's a 43. Bubba Wallace slams the wall. And we've heard people talking about brake issues and having an issue with brakes. The speed at which we saw Bubba Wallace just hit that wall, it almost looked as though he didn't have brakes.
Oh, no brakes.
Not a fan of this, Rick. I've seen this before.
Is okay, climbed out of his car unhurt, and I tell you that first because when you see the video, you'll wonder how.
It's around right there going down into turn one. Could be enough. Oh my goodness. That side down.
You're entering that corner at almost 200 miles per hour.
That had to be quite a ride right there. Got to believe something's happened back here. My goodness, boy. Does that not tell you how fast you're going? See how that fire stayed out?
We're under the caution for the second time today. A grinding crash in turn one. Sterling Marlin may have gotten into the back of Chuck Bound, and the two cars went hard into the wall at turn number one. You see Marlin walking from his car down toward where Chuck Bound sits. Here's what happened.
Looked like they had a little contact there, then they got into the right rear corner, and both of them go into the wall pretty hard there.
And those cars are junk. See Marlin's, the front end is all caved in, and the right rear on Chuck Bound's car is moved ahead. The rear end is moved ahead about a...
What it is, he might have snapped an axle here.
And a trouble. Oh, we have a car upside down, rolling down the racetrack. That's the number 48 car, driven by Greg Sachs.
Looks like Lake Speed.
Lake Speed also involved.
Okay, let's take a look at what did happen. As he went into turn one, he was on the outside. It looks like Lake Speed might have lost an engine, or at least he lost the car, and Greg hit him, and they both head to that wall. Greg Sachs hit it hard with the right front, and then the car gets upset and starts rolling over as they come down off of the wall. Barrel rolling. Look how high it goes into there, comes back down. Oh, over and over.
For Winston Cup cars and how strong they are. Look at that thing.
And he'll come around for 10 to go with a whopping 5.4 second lead, and Jeff Gordon has crashed.
Man, that is a bad crash.
A hard lick.
Drivers.
He said the brakes went out.
Boy, and he's hurting. I don't like the looks of that at all. Driver's side. Thank goodness for those safety barriers.
Darrell, we've talked about how you go into turn one at 200 miles an hour and dive down the racetrack, so it's a long way to go to get to that wall. Here's Gordon climbing out. That's a good sight.
That's a great, I tell you, I'm relieved. Man, oh man.
Jeff Gordon was trying to put together consecutive top 10 finishes for the first time since March.
Thank goodness for those things up there, guys. Those safer barriers. That makes all the difference in the world.
You can see Jeff kneeling down, I think, looking inside the left front just to see what he could see as far as the brakes, because we definitely heard him say the brakes went out into a corner where you're well over right at 200 miles per hour.
Cloud from under this car as it hits.
I just can't believe the side of that car.
And now the car behind him, the DirecTV car of Clint Boyer. Watch what he sees.
That would be the same thing. I'm sure his windshield ended up looking like.
Again, this time Dale Jarrett has climbed from his car okay after a fiery crash in turn one. We're under the second caution of the day.
And he just come out the pits. He made a great pit stop. He was up to like 6th place. And well, the car just was looking really good.
You'll ride with him here.
Uh-oh. That...
Tell you what, he hit that wall. I'm telling you, see all this fire. Remember, he just had made the pit stop like you talked about, Darrell. That's 22 gallons of fuel burning right
and
there.
that clicking sound or that scraping sound that we heard That either tells me that the tire pressures were low and hadn't come up yet, or something happened to a tire. Got a tire down.
That's all the sound of it.
And again, left side air pressure is pretty low here. Could have caused the car to either just bottom out and get upset on its own, or something happened. Right side look okay.
There you see a lot like Kenny Schrader. He got out of the car pretty quick, but the thing that won't come disconnected is the wire going to the helmet for the radio.
Well, a lot of these drivers now, they've got to take down not one, but some have two window nets, one inside the car and one at the window.
Trouble. Cars around and stacked up into the wall. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Juan Pablo Montoya, and Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, it looked like the 42 might have got into Ricky Stenhouse in that 17 car. Really go to the inside here early. After he crosses his start-finish line, look at him jump out then. He's getting a big push there. Of course, they're fanned out 3, 4 wide, at least getting down in here. Let's see if Montoya slips up or if Stenhouse comes down. Yeah, racing. We're definitely fighting over real estate. And certainly Montoya is not down on the yellow line, but he didn't have any extra room there either. Carrying a lot of speed down in there, even though they're just getting through the gears and up to speed.
Watch how much damage this 17 takes, how quickly.
It won't matter. Wow.
Jimmy Johnson slams the wall in Pocono.
Oh, my.
Brake still. Swazers.
Running 7th. Johnson with a brake problem, and Jamie McMurray has destroyed the right side of his car.
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson takes a seat, and now fire at the rear of McMurray's car as well as the right front.
Actually, the right rear. It looked like fire in the right rear.
It did look like a failure in the right rear. He turns left trying to get away from that wall. Heavy impact. Are there any parts or pieces that flew off the 48 car?
That is hard.
That's a wicked hit.
Remember, we're talking 200 mile an hour down into that corner.
When Johnson's car was going sideways, inside the right rear wheel was glowing bright red. You don't often see that on the rear brake.
No, there was some fire coming out.
Man, you sure you're all right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Whew, I got away with one there.
Well, they were spraying water in the car. I'll tell you, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But when you do that in a hot car...
Oh, we've got trouble in turn 1. Look at that, 2 automobiles. That's Dale Earnhardt in the Wrangler jeans machine. As you can see, oil pouring out of the rear of that car. Earnhardt got into it with Tim Richmond in the Stacy pack number 2. Earnhardt upside down, and we'll watch it on the instant replay from our Ms. cameras. Here's Earnhardt coming up behind Richmond. Earnhardt clips Richmond in the left rear quarter, kicks the deuce sideways. We see parts starting to fly. Richmond sliding sideways. Earnhardt goes right to the top of the track. He'll slam the wall here, and look at that. Earnhardt close to going out of the ballpark, Dick, as the 15 goes high in the air.
Well, it's about as close as you can get from going over the wall. And I'll tell you, the thing just got hung up in there and just flipped right up on its top. I'll tell you, that brings back old memories, man.
A rough ride indeed for Dale Earnhardt, the Wrangler jeans machine, as well as the Richmond car. Safety crews on the speedway, the Pocono track crews getting there very quickly to see if Earnhardt is okay, and we'll wait a moment as they help him unbuckle and get set to climb out of the car as we see the 15 slide.
As a matter of fact, it's funny you mentioned that. Isn't this where that Joey said something about who wore the fire suit in the family?
This is it. Oh, Newman and Allmendinger get together.
Oh,
hard
no.
in the wall goes Newman.
Man. Guys.
And both these drivers were having great runs, especially Ron Newman.
They were battling for 7th.
See Allmendinger down the inside there. Allmendinger just got a little wee bit loose as the Newman was going around on the outside and wiggled and got into the left rear of Brian Newman and sent him in a wall. Right there.
8th caution of the day. I think Kyle Busch lucky to get away from that one by diving to the inside. Same with Kurt Busch. Here's a look at it in real time.
we'll see how fast things happen. Fastest part of the racetrack.
You just watch that 47. It just wiggles a little bit, and it's just enough to get him up the hill into the side of the 31.
Yeah, Ryan Newman, one of those drivers. Oh, Jimmy! Trouble! Kenseth in the wall, Biffle in the wall. Kenseth spins into the pack. Denny Hamlin.
Was wondering going down in that corner, how close was Kenseth going to try to get over onto Jimmy Johnson to try to take advantage, get him a little bit free. Johnson got extremely loose.
Here's what happened. Heading off into turn one.
Jimmy got a great restart. I thought he was going to be able to get well out in front of Kenseth.
Yeah, but Kenseth got over on his quarter pound for just a second. You see Jimmy try to get away, but Kenseth had a good restart. Jimmy just got loose before he got down in there. He was just trying to drive it off in the corner and make sure that he got ahead. And he just got loose.
That's so reminiscent of what we saw at Indianapolis last Sunday. Remember, off of turn two, the guy on the bottom getting loose under the guy up front, and the guy who's running behind them ducks low and takes the lead.
Jeff Gordon said, "Thank you very much."
It worked to Jimmy Johnson's benefit last Sunday at Indy, to his detriment here at Pocono today.
Well, Keselowski, he's out of control trying to avoid him. Kenseth comes straight across the racetrack.
Tight. Clear low. Outside. Clear high. Inside. Caution.